My dear friends, it's Gord, your hurtin' hippie, with Weedy Weekend 91. Now, they say sometimes you have to just bite the bullet and go ahead. That's today. That's also tomorrow. Today, full of anxiety, extreme anxiety, to the point that I've been sitting here wanting to do this for all of you and not wanting to do it. It's just difficult sometimes. It's really difficult sometimes. But there was no Weedy Weekend last week because I was at HempFest Edmonton. And I can't go 2 weeks in a row without delivering some news. The news has really caught up on me. There's a lot of it to go, so pitter patter. Let's get at her and let's start reporting the news to you as best I can. That's what I do. I can't believe my last video got 4 thumbs down, but oh well. That was just thanking all of you for so many minutes watched on my program. If not for you guys, I don't have this to do. I do love doing this. Sometimes the anxiety overtakes me. That's just life. I'm dealing with a lot of financial difficulties right now and trying my best to stay smiling through it all. This too shall pass, and I will get past it. So thank you, those of you who stick with me, and you newcomers. Sometimes there's downs, lots of times there's ups. Watch my travels, but I'm always here for you. I even come to you when I'm feeling like this. I just made some rosin, from MMJ THC. I got some of the Black, a very famous strain, a beautiful strain, and here it is. And I made some rosin from that. Look at that gorgeous bud. And that's one of the smaller ones. Very dense, very dense. That's probably 2 grams or 2.5. I made some really nice rosin from it, which the Black is really good for helping with, even though it's an indica, for helping with depression. It really, really helps. There's the beautiful, beautiful slab of rosin. And I had some of that just before going on with you to get my nerve up. So let's get on with the news. And the first one is one that I like sharing. Because you see, I used to be a beer enthusiast. Oh, I loved my beer. But 2003, I quit drinking. I poured my last 6 beer down the sink and I swore no more booze, and I'm still there. So, and booze has gotten to the point that even if I smell it, my son barely ever drinks, but once in a while he does with the neighbors, and he'll get a little bit of liquor smell on him, and yeah, I hate that smell. So I don't go to bars, which sometimes is difficult because that's a great place to meet people. Sometimes. Anyways, beer sales. The first one, beer sales could take a huge hit if more states legalize. They're saying that the beer industry could lose over $2 billion from the legalization of marijuana as it spreads out. I like I'll read one piece of it to you. Is the company reported that 27% of beer drinkers said they have already substituted cannabis for beer or would make that switch if marijuana was legal in their state. Wine and spirit sales could see a drop in sales also. This is good news for the health of the public. Yeah, to an ex-drinker, it's kind of nice seeing people following these footsteps. But health-wise, alcohol is something that kills your liver and attacks your body over time. Cannabis is something that improves all your vital functions, and it's being found works really good on your digestive system and strengthens bones and strengthens nerves and fixes frayed nerves. It's just becoming a healthier. People still want that euphoria. Some don't. I'm at the point I don't care for it too much. But they want a healthier high. That's that story. Let's move on. There's lots of stories today. This one is marijuana and the lungs. This is what happens to your lungs if you smoke marijuana. The most important thing here is marijuana decreases the risk of lung cancer. Marijuana does not cause chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. Thus, pot is safer than cigarettes. This is a really good story with a lot of links. I encourage all of you, please click on it. Find what you need to find in there that gives you a little bit more knowledge in this area. The smarter we are about this stuff, the better we can talk with our doctors. Professor Emeritus of Medicine at UCLA and one of the United States' leading pulmonologists who have been studying weed and its effect on lungs for more than 30 years. Dr. Donald Tashkin once sought to prove that pot causes lung cancer, but the evidence forced him to conclude that average weed smoking does not cause lung cancer or impair lung function. In fact, this does go on to show that there is a strengthening of the lungs, and the slight discomfort or problems caused by some of the carcinogens of smoking green is overlaid by the positives that these cannabinoids bring to the body. Very good story. I think it's from Anonymous News. I think it's one worthy of reading and sharing. Peace and cheers, folks. Let's move on. This story I covered in Weedy Weekend 90. This is 91. And I'm still upset at it. I've done a lot of studies on it. This is from, let me just see who it's from, because I've got my comment from Google on it. It's from the Huffington Post, Canada, which I don't care a lot for. But it's a story saying, please stop arresting marijuana activists for Canada's sake. Some say what the dispensaries are doing is blatantly illegal. Others say the issue exists inside of a legal gray area. By the time the courts make sense of it, however, the laws probably won't exist anymore. And this is the rub. Under the government program, there is usually just one strain of marijuana a patient can obtain, take it or leave it. No strains geared towards cancer patients to increase their appetite. No strains geared towards OCD sufferers for those in pain. Nothing. Here's some random marijuana. We hope it works for you. That's our current medical program. That's why dispensaries exist. Everyone that comes to the dispensary that I work with, that I am beside, and that I always buy from, every person that comes to us says, my LP has lousy choice. It isn't making me healthy. Many of them say, in fact, I'm coughing more than I ever used to. And this goes on, I'll put the story below, but this goes on to say how we've got to start treating our activists better, and we've got to understand that, as Emery's lawyer Trousseau said, by the time this makes it to court, the law he was arrested on will not exist. It will be defunct. This is a waste of taxpayers' funding. For our Prime Minister to just come forward and say, until we legalize it, the old laws exist, is ridiculous. And we have to keep fighting back and say, look, you're going to keep extending that day it's legal, and we still don't know in what way you're going to deliver legality to us. Are you still going to restrict our choice and our buying methods? And if you do, these dispensaries will still exist, because if you don't create the environment that supports them or that copies what they do, then they're going to exist. We need interim laws that say, for the meantime, as long as something isn't sold to a child without medical requirements, and that should be through the government program, then let's allow some legal sales of this, because we have agreed we want it off the streets. Get in the store. It can be watched by the police. It can be monitored and protected by the police rather than them just letting them get robbed. See previous stories. That's my talk on this marijuana activism. You know I'm an activist. You know I'm more middle of the road. I'm not breaking laws like crazy trying to say, hey, look at me, the laws need to change. But we do need those kind of people out there, because the more we get on the periphery, the more they understand how important this movement is. It's a movement not just about medical. It's not just about recreational. This is a movement about our rights to possess, our rights to do commerce how we feel, our rights to buy from wherever we want, assuming our own risks. We don't need the government to protect us from risk. We're smart. We're people. On to the next story. Just saw a bus drive by. On to the next story. A cannabis firm in Canada aims to set the safety standards for medical marijuana. Now, I meant to pre-read this, and I have not, but I'll read the first paragraph with you. With the medical marijuana industry caught in a tainted cannabis scare that Health Canada is yet to fully confront, bad Health Canada, one company has struck out on its own to devise a solution to the controversy and hopes the rest of the sector will follow suit. Aurora Cannabis, one of 38 licensed producers for cannabis, is expected to announce on Thursday strictest consumer safety regime, testing all of its products for contaminants at a federally accredited lab, then making those certified test results public. This is the way we want to go. Everything should go through tests. No, we shouldn't. The only thing I heard from Health Canada that was a little bit positive, I got fuzzy there, was that they were going to start spot testing on LPs. That shouldn't exist. What they should be doing is they should be randomly and consistently checking LPs to make sure they're testing. We don't pay our government to do the testing of other drugs, nor should we pay our government through our taxes to test marijuana. These LPs have to assume that risk and that expense while keeping our prices low, because that's what they signed up for. And if they don't want to do it, then get out of the kitchen, because this current system is profit driven. If we don't force them to do it, they will not do it in a profit driven system. Our current dispensaries, I argue, is a consumer driven business, not a profit driven business. It's the people at mind. Because if you do not provide quality testing and results, they don't come back. They find another place. Whereas the LPs is a closed system, so profit driven. This is a good story. Good for Aurora as an LP trying to take a lead in a place where the government has tried to take the lead and failed miserably. On to the next story. This is a good one. This story, your optimal marijuana dose may be lower than you think. This is about optimizing marijuana's benefits with lower doses, micro dosing. Really good story. I want to read it a second time because there's a lot to be said here. I have gone much more into microdosing when it comes to my THC. But when it comes to my edibles, I'm doing rather high doses. I'm doing 100 milligrams every night at 5 o'clock. By 7 o'clock it hits. I've developed quite a bit of tolerance to it, but it adds to my evening and takes away my pain. This talks about how taking 2.5 to 5 milligram doses, but consistently, keeping a much lower rate of high, but a much longer, does your body better. I want to learn more about that, and I want to hear what you guys all say. I'm not going to read this one to you because, as I say, I read it quickly. I want to read so much more. I don't know enough about it yet, but microdosing is something new that's out there. It's medical. It's not recreational. You're recreational, you want a bigger hit to get a bigger high. But when you want to solve problems with your body, if microdosing takes away the high but decreases that pain, it might be for me. I have terrible stomach problems. Maybe and I've wanted to take edibles during the day, but the high is rather strong on edibles. So the microdosing edibles might be the way to go for me. In the future, I will be testing this. I just don't have enough time right now. I gotta move. When I get over that, I will get to that. Next story. Number of medical marijuana users soar across Canada. Now almost 130,000. And that is wonderful. The demand is going up, and they propose in this story, a worthwhile read, they propose in this story that we've gone way up because a lot of recreational users are sneaking in and getting their medical. I don't think that's really it. I think what it is more and more people are realizing the benefits compared to normal, traditional Western medicine. That's what I believe. I'd like to know what you think, but although I've seen more and more and more, I do these conferences and I see thousands of people who have issues, who say, look, I want to get out of recreational, I want to get better marijuana. And I say, but do you have a condition? Oh no, I mean, I suffer from anxiety. I usually sit at home all the time, but I don't have any pains or anything. Some people don't know. Anxiety is covered and repaired by cannabis very well. Not perfectly. Nothing is perfect. So I don't think people are cheating the doctors to get access to legal by faking problems in their body. I think it's just more people becoming aware that the stigma is dropping and they can safely, without being put down by other people, take medical cannabis instead of an opioid. So I say power to it. Let's get more of you out there. If you have a medical condition, you haven't applied for your card yet, why not? I did hear the most common when I was at HempFest in Edmonton, the most common was, I don't want my employer to find out that I'm smoking this. That's the most common, is that still fear that this medicine will be misunderstood by your employer or somebody who has some power over you. That's a difficult thing. That's a difficult walk. And it's a difficult talk. Something that we should talk more about. This is a great story. Why medical marijuana is being used to treat addiction. This is a great story. I'm not reading any of it to you. I'm asking, pleading, begging you to take a look at this, because not only is marijuana non-addictive, and I put it in quotes because am I addicted? Some people would say I am, because I can't go a day or two without. My pain goes too high. Is that an addiction? No, but to take my tolerance breaks, I can't take them. So that's a need, not an addiction. I can't, when I do decide to go without, I go without a long time without it having anything to do with me and my mental capacity, except for the fact that my pain gets more. But I love this story because it's being used to take people off of morphine, heroin, MDMA, meth. It's being used as a exit drug where so many people that are not in the know call it an entrance drug or a gateway drug. No, it's the one that helps you leave the bad drug system and get into a cleaner lifestyle while still being able to escape, to have that euphoria that we all need to get away from our troubles. Sometimes it's a troublesome life. Bringing me to the last story, which is from Leafly 101. I like giving you Leafly Cannabis 101. And this is the history and emergence of CBD strains. The shift in interest that drove cannabis breeders to focus on propagation and dissemination of CBD genetics derived from several origins, one being the need to further explore the medical benefits of the compound. Facilitated by the interest in a handful of scientists and breeders, high CBD strains that were once only selected and bred with the specific intention of extracting CBD from the plant are now being hybridized to meet the palates and needs of a new market of CBD enthusiasts. It's so true. More and more of the people who come to our website ask about CBD. How can I get low THC, high CBD flower? It makes me calmer. It makes me better. A nice slow euphoria that is much easier to manage and even to work on. I believe in CBD in two ways. The one-to-one, where you have low THC, high CBD, which usually equal each other, 7% THC, 7% CBD. Critical mass is one of those. CBD yummy. There's many CBD skunk, Sweet Island skunk CBD. There's many like that. They're one-to-one, 7 to 9% equal. And the CBD cuts any peaks off of the small high that the THC is giving people a much calmer pain relief. It may be the way to go, but what I like is the fact that we have high THC, we have high CBD, we have mixes, we have hybrids. We need, and that's why I said earlier, our LPs only have 3 or 4 options for a medical patient. Until we can say, I have fibromyalgia, I need the mix of concentrates from 20 different flowers that forms the fibromyalgia medicine. That's in our future. I know it is. And there'll probably be like 5 or 6 different fibromyalgia, heavy to the fog, heavy to the back pains, heavy to the tingles, whatever. One day, all these compounds, we will know exactly what they do and what they do in different combinations, and you'll be able to buy them that way. But until then, we as consumers need the ability. If you go onto Aurora and you see 4 or 5 strains, and then you look in Leafly what they do to your body for pain-wise, how they help, you may not find the kind that works for you. You come to MMJ THC's website and you find over 70 strains. You're going to find the one that specifically will work for you. And you'll find 3 or 4 of them, which means you can rotate, keeping your tolerance low, keeping you from needing a tolerance break. Very, very important. Great story about CBD. I love CBD. CBD has changed my life. CBD makes me able to still battle past my social anxiety, crippling social anxiety, to get this information out to all of you whom I love. Yes, I love y'all. You're my family. You've helped me through the worst times of my life. Peace and cheers, my friends. Love and harmony. If you find someone without a smile today, give them yours. They need it. I need it. You need it. Peace.